Hey everyone, Leader Dorset Spur here, back with my match reaction to the game versus Hoffenheim in the Europa League last night. Didn't do an instant match reaction following the game because I was fairly content, obviously because we won the game. I wanted to just collect my thoughts rather than just talking emotionally. Now I know the emotional videos tend to do better and attract more people to view them because they revel in your pain. Some people, but listen, I sometimes you just need to kind of go away and think about it and try to put it together in some sort of reasonable viewpoint. I guess is what I'm saying. So first things first, great to win. It's been a while. It's been painful, and so grabbing a win is really, really important. It was a really important game for us to keep that momentum going in the Europa League because obviously we all want to do well in that. And so I was chuffed with the result. In terms of the performance, you can't sit here and go, it's great, we're back, everything's rosy in the garden. Clearly, that is a big, big band-aid being stretched across a massive chasm of a crack. And there were times in the game where the stress levels are kind of going like this because Tottenham never seemed to do it the easy way. The game started off very, very well. First things first, let's say, I am not sure that he could have done anything different in terms of the squad that he put out, the team that he put out. I think we had to go strong, and strong to a certain extent is all we've got. We haven't really got fairly strong. We've got lots of kids on the bench. The only two names on the bench that have seen any real minutes is Mikey Moore and Will Lankshire. Mikey Moore, the only one actually doing any Premier League football. So when you look at it from that point of view, I'm not sure what else he really could have done. But listen, the whys and wherefores of that are another matter for a longer video. So we start off with the best team we can do, and of course we get off to a very good start in terms of a fantastic ball from Porro, who all of a sudden in that first half started to look like the Porro that we have seen play for us. Played that ball brilliantly taken down by Maddison, who then fired it high into the roof of the net. Nothing the keeper could do about it, absolutely, and nothing the defender could do about it because the ball was so perfect. And it just shows the quality that Maddison has when he is visible and in the game. The problem is if he gets marked out of the game, or he's not up for the game, or he can't get into it, doesn't feel it, whatever, then he is invisible, and that's the problem. The inconsistency around Maddison is my biggest concern. You cannot doubt his quality. Absolutely fantastic player when he's really on it. But yesterday it seemed like he was on it. Of course, he then sets up the second goal. Lucky bounce, lucky deflection, gets it to the Son, and a lucky deflection takes the ball over their goalkeeper, and we are in dreamland. 2-0, cruising, everything's kind of rosy in the garden. There was some decent performances going on there. Archie Gray looking very strong in the left back position. Ben Davies looking ever so Mr. Dependable. Bergvall running his socks off in the midfield there. But there was some concerns for me. Dragishi at periods I thought looked a little bit out of sorts. Kulu, I worry about Kulu. Desperately needs a break. You can see that he's running on empty. He works really, really hard, but a lot of the time he gave away a silly free kick. Some of his passing was sloppy, and it was quite worrying for me. And again, Sonny will get a lot of credit for scoring 2 goals in this game, but his running seems really lethargic. He seems like he's running on empty. Gave the ball away an awful lot. Didn't make the runs that you really want him to do. So there was some concerns in the game. But again, great to see Richarlison back and working hard. Good to see Bentancur back working hard as well. But you can see this is a team that's being really, really overstretched, and you can kind of see that. Second half, totally different scenario. Again, we came out under pressure straight away and under pressure pretty much for the whole game. It felt like we just could not string a pass together. We couldn't find any of our players. We were struggling to keep up with the pace of the game, and it was all really, really worrying. And you could see goals coming. You could see that there was a goal coming, and of course, the inevitable happens, and a ball comes in from the right, and the striker gets between the defenders and manages to bobble it home. To be fair to Brandon Austin, I think he had a decent game, made a couple of really, really good saves, and really deserved his start in this game. I thought that, with Kinski coming in, it was obvious he was going to play very quickly because they wanted to get embedded in and so on. But for a game like this with Kinski out, it made sense for me for Brandon Austin to come in, and I don't think he disappointed. And I think that really should spell the end for Fraser Forster, who hasn't really let us down, to be fair. And I don't want to slag him off, but it's clear that, we've got three decent keepers in the squad that can kind of that are not letting us down as overall. I think they deserve a fair bit of credit, especially when they're the goalkeeper behind a very, very makeshift defence. So anyway, I guess the other main talking point, whilst I'm talking about the goalkeeper, was the penalty decision, which I have to be honest, I'm bemused. I'm absolutely lost as to what that was for. I'm not sure what the referee saw. I've no idea where he was going with it. It looked a brilliant save to me. The ball came across. Brandon Austin goes in, gets his hand to the ball, which he's allowed to do. He's supposed to do. If that means it collides with the striker, then so be it. He didn't lead with his elbow. He didn't lead with his arm. He didn't smash into him and take him out. He literally just went up with his hand and tipped the ball over. I thought it was a brilliant save, and I'm shocked I'm shocked that the referee saw it as a penalty, but then I'm even more shocked that it took so long for them to actually see it in the VAR, and for the referee to look at it and think to himself, "That's I've got that wrong," and it's comical that they literally had it set up for a penalty before he'd even really looked at it. I just bemused by that, and to be honest with you, VAR worked in our favour. We did work in our favour there because it was the right decision. But it just shows you that how bad that could have been if that referee had stuck with that decision. But Brandon Austin, fair play to him. I thought he had a decent game. But yeah, the game was getting away from us, to be honest with you. And so with Bentancur making an interception playing from Hoffenheim playing out from the back, total mistake from their point of view. Bentancur gets the ball. And of course, goes to Mikey Moore, who then gets it to Sonny, who, to be fair, he'd missed a few like that. So to get that in there was perfect. Gets us back to 3-1, and we're again cruising. But you can never leave it until the last, because of course they had another opportunity. Of course they put the ball from left into a big open space, missing by Porro at the back post for their man to get his head on it and bury it. So disappointing to concede 2 goals in there, but you can see at that point there was like 5 teenagers on the pitch, and it was a bit of a worry. And until that final whistle, I was convinced that we were going to let another one in and end up with a 3-3 draw and leave it all till the last game. But not to be the case. So we got through it. Great to see the young lad, Callum Ousi. I'm not sure if I say that right, and apologies if I've murdered his name. Comes in for a few minutes, gets his debut. That'll be good for him to have that. Mikey Moore, I thought was really, really good as well. I thought he played really well. Lancashire, I thought unlucky not to get a couple of decisions go his way. He was kind of bundled over a few times, but again, looks a big lad. Looks hungry. Looks keen. Really feel that he needs to be used a little bit more, maybe in these games, because obviously with Richarlison coming back, the last thing we want is for him to get injured, especially with Solanke now being out for about 6 weeks. And I refer to my video of yesterday talking about the lack of signings, which is really beginning to grind massively. So yeah, overall, really happy to get the win. It was what we desperately needed. A little bit of confidence. Hopefully, no one's come out of that game injured, and we can kind of look to the weekend. Fingers crossed that Romero can now come back and maybe play a part of the game at the weekend, which would be good. Which would be good to have. I really do think that players like Porro and Son need a break. So I personally would maybe go with Mikey Moore. I don't think he's ever let us down since he's came in. I think he's ready. And I think he probably needs a bit of a run after being injured out for so long. Because I feel like Son needs a break. I think Porro needs a break. I think Archie Gray probably needs a break. Dragushi probably needs a break. There's a lot of players in there that have played a lot of minutes. They can't complain. They won't complain about playing all the time because that's what they're there for. That's what they want to do. But we've got to start managing this squad. Andrew's got to start managing this squad because if he doesn't, we're going to be back to square one, especially if we don't get anybody in. I'm still hopeful, but more hope than confidence, if I'm honest, because I just feel like this ownership is just letting us down, time after time after time, and it's just, really, really painful. Anyway, listen, that's my match reaction for yesterday. Really happy to get back in it. Keeps us in the competition. Hopefully, keeps us out of the knockout to get into it. If that's the competition proper. If that's the case, because obviously we can't do with any more games than we really need to. We need to just get through and see where we go from there, and hopefully get some players back and strengthen this squad. So that was the important thing to keep going. Anything else is a bonus. So not a great performance overall. Great to see the team working together and seeming like they're still backing their manager. It looks to me like they're still backing their manager. They're still trying to do their best for him, still working hard, and they look like they're still really committed to each other, which is great to see. A little bit of team bonding. It doesn't feel like they're bitching and moaning in each other and blaming each other, which is great. And when you're going through a shit time, having that bond is really, really important to keep going together and believing in the plan. So we'll see where the week goes from here. I think Leicester's not going to be easy, but we are at home, so you would want to think, and they're not having a great time, so you want to think that this is one we should win. But we know it's never that simple. Dr. Tottenham likes to dish out the points, and but fingers crossed that's not going to happen this weekend. I'll be at the game, cheering the lads on, so maybe I'll see some of you up there. If you see me and you want to say hello, good to see you. And I'll be back with the next one after that Leicester game. Look out for the Dorset Spurs predictions, which will be out this evening as well. So look out for that and let us know what your score predictions are on there. But thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next one. And as I always say, up the Spurs.